Welcome to the Across the Pond Sports Network's WNBA podcast, Across the Pond Liberty. I'm Stacia.
And I'm Kirsten.
Yep. So we had very, very, very easy week. We had one game on Father's Day here in the States, and the celebration of Juneteenth, which happened on Monday. So it was a big celebration, Father's Day and Juneteenth at Barclays, and came away with a victory, but a little disappointing because there's no BG or Taurasi playing, but they're there, so at least the fans got to see them.
Yeah, I know. I was really looking forward to seeing Phoenix playing against us this season, particularly with all the stuff that's gone on with Brittney Griner. Would have been really cool to see her back in action, but at the very least, we did get to see them sitting on the sidelines. They got some. I don't know if you saw. There was a point where the camera cut to Taurasi and she was playing with her gum. She just, like, pulls it out her mouth and pings it back, and then the camera just caught her at that moment, and I was like, "Oh my god," like, I'd be embarrassed, but, yeah, it was
D
nice.
D doesn't get she doesn't get embarrassed. That
No, no,
woman
no,
doesn't get
no,
embarrassed.
she's cool. She doesn't embarrassment does not exist for that woman, but yeah, it was sold out game as well, we were saying that, is it 9,000 it's either 9,278 or 9,728. Can't
It's
remember
it's
which way around.
it's in there. They didn't open up the upper bowl for Barclays, so what they did or were allowing to sell ended up being a sellout. So uh, I'm ready for the Liberty to open up the upper bowl of Barclays just to really really sell out, especially in the playoffs coming up. That would be something
Oh,
that do that because I'm like, who wouldn't be excited about selling it out during the playoff
mhm,
run? But I mean, this is something that I was happy with is that the Liberty won 2 quarters handily, tied the third quarter, and then had a not a good fourth quarter. But when they played the Wings, they lost 3 out of 4 quarters. They just had that really big third quarter, and so it's nice to see them, win some quarters this game, even though
mhm.
they should have won this game easily, and they did mostly because without BG and Taurasi, it just doesn't feel like much. And I feel for Phoenix because they've just hit the injury bug, and it's not a good year, but it's a good year because BG's back. That's the thing on that. But oh,
Yeah.
but yeah. So Stewie leading the way again in points, but did get the double double for John Quill, first double double for the Libs. So
Mhm.
that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great to see Stewie come back from what was quite a rough game for her last time where she was 1 from 14 from the field. She made up for it. She went 7 from 13. She also herself got a double-double, 28 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists,
Yeah,
and a steal. She played well. She
yeah.
played well, and I think coming into it, the commentators were saying um, that Phoenix were looking to play similar style defense to how the teams played previously against Stewart to keep her down to 1 from 14, and I was just like,
Good luck.
the, yeah, good luck. And right enough, come into the game, and Stewie was just she was on a mission. She was on a mission, and yeah, good for her. We're happy. That's our two-time Eastern Conference Player of the Week. You can't hold her down for too long. And yeah, and then we had Jonquil with her first double double too, which was great to see. I think we were kind of talking before we recorded that we have been slightly underwhelmed by Jonquil. I mean, she is like former MVP of the league. She's like one of the best in the league right now playing in her position, and she just as well she has been coming back from injury, so cut her some slack, and it's hard to adjust to a new team, but it just seems like Stewie in particular, having moved, and Sloot as well, just they've really adapted well, maintained pretty similar numbers to what they've played at previous teams where they're more of a star player. And yeah, but it's nice to see that Jonquil has had her first double double. She's definitely on the improvement, and she looks like she's kind of getting into the flow of her game a lot more smoothly than previously.
and it's just it's one of those where she so wanted to be in New York, and so now that
Mhm,
she's here, I'm really looking forward to how the rest of the season is, and talk to you about this before, to track how they do for each section of the season. So the first
mhm,
quarter of games is over, and they've played the least amount of games of anybody in the league. Um, all the other teams have played at least 11 games. Most of them are on 12, but they did have the postponed game because of the air quality in New York from the Canadian wildfires. So they've got 25% of their games done. So I'm gonna really track John Quell in each section, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter for the rest of the year. And same thing with the team, just to see on their improvement. They've made improvements this year from May to June. And one of them was, I believe they're up 4 assists more in May to June, even though they have more losses in June. And that just is due to really bad shooting nights, which just
yeah.
gets into using their legs and just more, chemistry and taking a little bit better shots instead of always relying on the three. But the assist is the biggest thing because you know, in May, sorry, it's a in May, they're up only 1 assist. I thought it was more than that. That's my bad. I read that incorrectly. And then it's the turnovers. They have 3 less turnovers a game averaged for June as opposed to May, and that is big time team chemistry. And, um, you talked about this, that they had in a previous episode about their all access shows that they have, and their second
Mhm,
one is out, and only caught a little bit of that. And they had the Mystics game where the Mystics, oh, they've played more together. They have more chemistry. It's not just going to put together, and they know that it's a journey, and they're creating a culture of who wants to be there. And so the longer the season progresses, that will be a very big thing to track on how much the movement is, and that's something that we've known from the beginning because, the Aces are a well-oiled machine, and De'Eric is gone, and then Candace is there, so that's literally one player, and Candace can adapt to everybody, so the Aces had no problem with chemistry. They're like, "Yeah, we got this, let's go." And then also
mhm.
Candace had played with Chelsea Gray in LA, so it's like, "Oh, okay, I've done this. This is fine."
Yeah.
So it's going to be a definite progression, and Sandy has said that in interviews, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the progression. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like, I completely agree as well. In that game actually against Phoenix, New York had 16 turnovers, which is more than what they've averaged this season. And Phoenix only had 12, which I thought was quite interesting to see considering the biggest lead in the game was 22 points. Like at some points Liberty were hammering them, and I just find it really strange to see that Liberty actually did have so many more turnovers, which must mean like Phoenix just weren't performing or getting those second chance points off those turnovers. So um but yeah, definitely as well, just with the team chemistry, it's nice to see. There's definitely some plays I've seen where I've been like, yeah, okay, this is nice, this is nice. We're getting into the flow, we're getting into the chemistry. I feel like everyone's understanding their role on the team a lot better. One person as well, I won't say I was like underwhelmed by, but I felt that Sloot wasn't. She was very much facilitating. She was performing so well in terms of assists, and it's nice that she fitted right into that space in the team. But in terms of scoring and attacking, I just felt that every time she would drive to the basket and she could have gone up for a shot, draw a foul, she would then pass the ball out. And this is something that really irritates me when I play or when I watch basketball, is when someone makes all the effort to drive right into the key, right into that layup box where it's a clean shot for you either to go up or you're absolutely going to get fouled. But she has this habit to just stop and pass,
yeah,
and I've found recently in the past couple of games she's not been doing that as much, and she has been attacking and given maybe a few missed layups where I'm like, "Oh, okay, that should have gone in." But it's nice to see that she is also particularly adapting to um her position and getting that confidence as well. So yeah, I agree. And as well, we had Marine Johannes with, was it her second start for the season?
I believe
and sh
so.
yeah, she scored 10 points, and my goodness me, she is just so fun to watch, and I say this every single week, but, like, she had one, layup in particular, she was wide open, and she was like,
Just
"I'm
extra
wide open,
flair.
I'm gonna take this." She just goes, takes the step, she pulls the ball back down, and, oh, it was just I loved watching it. I love watching someone who's just flashy, and she makes everything look flashy, like, even just her normal jump shot, she stops, she shoots so quickly, and then, like, she shoots kinda off one leg, like, off balance, and it just looks so it goes in and you're like, "Oh, that was
She's
just so nice to watch."
it's just little shimmies, just back and forth.
Yeah,
Just little shimmies.
honestly,
Just except for the
it's
face. The face is just pretty
just
just
like
like stone face,
yeah.
but just all the
Yeah,
little flair. Yeah.
and she's really stepped up having, particularly with Sabrina being out, um, I just really feel like Johannes, she's stepped up, she's taken that opportunity of her to be like, "Okay, I need to fill in this gap in the team. I need to start. I need to do this." And she's done it. I've been very, very impressed with Johannes in these past couple games. And it's nice that she's really getting that opportunity to play. There was one point as well, Sandy Brondello was saying that she she speaks to Johannes and she tells her, play your flashy style of basketball. Like,
Yes.
make it look cool, enjoy it. Like, you don't have to conform to what the normal standard is of playing very fundamental yet skilled basketball. You can play flashy if that's your style of play. Have the confidence on this team to play flashy, and I love that. And it's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it without Sabrina there, and we talked about this before we started recording. Sabrina's been out the past 2 games. We don't know the severity of that hamstring injury. Um, Sabrina is second in the 3 major categories. She's second in points, she's second in rebounds because, again, Jonquel hasn't rebounded that much, limited in playing minutes, understand. I think that is gonna change as the season progresses, that Jonquel will end up getting more rebounds than Sabrina,
Mhm.
like, in each of the quarters. I think it's gonna just go up, and I think Sabrina's gonna stay the same, but she's also second in assists to Sloot, so 16.5 points a game. I believe 4.3 assists and then about 6.5 boards. That is huge because 5.5 boards are defensive rebounds. And with how much we talked about how they didn't clean up the offensive boards against the Dream, big on the rebounds, but she essentially brings 4.3 assists, 16.5 points, 24 to 25 points a game that are direct results from Sabrina. And so, Johannes is coming in, good old MJ is coming in and doing well with her flashiness. But when you have someone as consistent as Sabrina has been, that is just gets me a little bothered. And I know Betnaja has stepped up and done whatever she's asked.
Mhm.
And I am gonna do an episode where I have 5 minutes about loving Betnaja for how much she's had to adjust and be the defensive stopper this year. And then
Mhm.
she's had some times when she's like the leading scorer. She's done that
Mhm.
once and then second leading scorer to Stewie. But, you know, 16.5 points, 4.3
Mhm.
assists, 6.5 boards. The impact of Sabrina is huge. And
Yeah,
so we need her back.
we do. We do need her back, and as well, 16 and a half points average is great, but she then also she comes out and she has these games like she had the other week with her 8 3-pointers where she can just shoot the lights out when you need her. She's so clutch. And she's just such an asset to have on the team. And you can definitely feel as much as I'm saying yes, Johannes has stepped up, but you're completely right. I mean, Johannes, she had 2 rebounds in that game, which is, you know,
Yeah.
it's not Sabrina numbers though, and we're definitely missing out on having Sabrina there. I think it's just yeah, as well with like the turnovers that game were really high, and a lot of the time turnovers do come down to those ball handlers like Sloot, Sabrina, and Johannes also, who's been playing. I believe she had 3 turnovers in that game, which is like quite a fair few. So yeah, I do think we're missing Sabrina. We need someone alongside Sloot who is maybe a bit more careful with the ball. Because yes, Johannes is flashy, but also sometimes like
Sabrina's been a point
Something
guard. There's a
she's
difference.
been she's been
Yes,
there, and she knows and can handle and maintain the pace of the game very well. I think that's something that we're really missing out on right now. In particular with this Phoenix game. Phoenix, also had more fast break points than the Liberty did,
again. Yep.
again, so, you know, it is tough as well, and it goes to show as well just the fight that Phoenix had with they were down 22 points at one point in the game. They come to the 4th quarter, they bring it back to is it 8 points it
I believe
was?
it, yeah, 8 or 9 points because
8.
Sophie decided to go off.
She goes off. Sophie
Oh,
goes off, scores 9 points during an 11-0 run for Phoenix.
and when we say go
Um
off, we mean scoring, not just, Sophie, talking to people because there could be 2 different Sophie going off. And I say that as someone who's like, I never wouldn't wanna play against Sophie Cunningham. She's a great player, but, there's 2 different going off Sophies, but she goes off shooting, and then she'll go off another way and be like, "What?" Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah, yeah,
Sophie.
yeah.
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 It's her and
Um,
Marina Mabrey, those are the 2, you better watch out.
yeah.
These girls that shoot, and then they'll tell you about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think that is just something as well, like, just the pace of the game, um, that the Liberty are kinda struggling with that. I think they do play a very set basketball, which is good when you have people who are confident, and not to say that the other people aren't confident, but Sabrina, she's been there,
Yeah.
she's been at the Liberty, she knows what she's doing, and she is, like, one of top 2 performers on that team. Um, and I think it is really significant when you play a game against Phoenix, who are bottom of the league right now, and they're scoring more fast break points than your team. Like it's just very evident as well that we need some sort of improvement in terms of pace. Maybe I understand we play very set basketball, but to let a team go on a run like that, who really shouldn't be going on a run like that, missing out on BG, Taurasi. They don't have Skylar Diggins Smith playing, and there was also an injury on Michaela, who was very soon. It was like 11 minutes into the game. She got a
Yeah.
bump in the face and she was out. Like Phoenix really, they shouldn't have been going on a run like that. So yeah, I do think we're missing Sabrina. We're missing
Yes.
Sabrina.
Well, and Phoenix the past few years hasn't had consistency with their teams, ever since they made the finals, like, last year, and they still were in the playoffs last year in the 8th spot, and I know they played Vegas and just got throttled, but they made the playoffs.
Mhm.
There is a certain mentality with them where, "Hey, we're gonna hang out and just make you uncomfortable as long as we can," and that's what's great about this league. Because I know I had said about, Indiana, and now Indiana's on the playoff bubble. They're hanging out, I believe, in the 9 spot, and I think Melissa Smith has been huge in her 2nd year, and I know everybody's gonna talk about Boston, which rightfully so, but I know Melissa's had a good year, and those youngins are working together very well with a couple of the other players, but bringing back to Phoenix, Shug Sutton has been in and out, and she had a good game, and
Mhm.
Sophie's gonna try to punch you in the mouth as much as possible all the time, and all the respect, I saw her play when she was a freshman in college, and I literally told you this before recording, I was like, "Who is this?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Who is this?" Um, and so she's always one to just don't make her mad, watch when she starts shooting well, watch yourself, kind of player. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and we say that, and we're very critical about what they need to do, and yet they're 2nd in the league and they're 7 and
Yeah.
3. And so that is just insane that we're because we know the potential, so we're just gonna just
Yeah.
keep chipping on the criticisms. So, we love you. We love you.
Yeah, we love
We
our
love you.
liberty, but
Yeah.
we do, we also know what all of these players individually are capable of, and it's just about bringing that together and hopefully like they have been doing great so far though. It's just there has been some points in the games where I'm like, "Oh, okay, this team should not be on a run like
Yeah.
this, or you shouldn't be losing to the dream."
Yeah. We
But
we
yeah,
see what is good, but we're also like, "Let's clean this up."
yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
honest. We're
We're
honest.
we're honest. It's very
Yeah,
fair.
we're unbiased.
I One game we had one game this week, and I'm just gonna mention that Epiphany Prince is back on a hardship contract, which anytime I see Piff, I'm happy. And
Mhm.
so just keep coming in, you doing your job. Thanks, Piff. But
Yeah, she got
this
good
week is
minutes as well.
yeah, it's she'll come in and veterans. I mean, so many years in the league, had the
Yeah.
championships. So it's always good whenever she gets back, and
Mhm.
I love that. But this week is going to be a lot harder, and so hopefully get Sabrina back because it's not just one game and it's not the bottom of the league. So rematch with the Dream in Atlanta, and then at home versus the Mystics for that's gonna be fun, and that's a Commissioner's Cup game, and then go to Connecticut to play the Sun for another Commissioner's Cup game, and they're right on the edge with Connecticut for the top spot in the Commissioner's Cup. And so this is gonna be a very interesting week because of what happened the last time they played the Dream, and then they beat the Sun, and then they lost to the Mystics. So I have no idea. This could be a 3-0 week. This could be a 1-2
Mhm.
week, a 2-1. I do not think it's gonna be an 0-3 week, but
No, please
this
no.
is this is definitely gonna be a week that is gonna be testing everybody,
Mhm.
especially when it's a 3-game week. It's
Yeah.
a busy week. So, first matchup against the Dream, I am picking the Liberty. I think they're gonna be good. They're not gonna let anything happen like they did the last time,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna make a prediction to say that the Liberty are gonna out offensive rebound the Dream in this game.
Okay. Okay.
They're gonna out offensive rebound them. That doesn't mean that the Dream won't have a lot, but I think we're gonna get more. I hope that's a point of emphasis. More offensive rebounds than the Dream this game. Got a prediction for the
Okay.
Dream game.
Okay. My prediction as well, they're gonna come back, right? Liberty, there's no way that you're gonna let the Dream beat you 2 games in a row. Like, that's no, not gonna
No,
happen. So,
no,
I see it, Liberty are gonna come out, they're fighting, they have a chip on their shoulder from that last game because they know that they
yep,
should not have lost that game.
yes.
Um, so yeah, absolutely, I have got Liberty on that, and I'm very excited to watch because we also you mentioned this previously, like, Atlanta, the home court and the fans, it's just such a great environment when you watch the game. You can really notice the difference between like all the different fan bases. Atlanta really stands out. Like they have a really great fan base and I think it's such a fun environment to watch a game in. So I'm very excited for that.
That's another thing to put in the documentary, the Dream documentary. I'm gonna
Yes,
mention it.
we're just making a list at this rate.
Is the fan base. There was one time a fan in Atlanta had a T-shirt on, and they made sure to put it on TV, and it says, "If you don't love me like a 1990s, like a 90s R&B song, I don't want it." I still remember that. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but
I
it
read that.
was awesome, and I got
Yeah.
to meet yeah, and I got to meet some Atlanta Dream, they're called chaplains, like, um, these women at the Final Four that I think are like, spiritual people for the players on the team. And they were very, very nice because I saw their dream
Mm,
shirts and I was like, hey, what's up?
huh.
And they just were very supportive and like there's just a lot of love in that community. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
the dream has a lot of excitement. So more fodder for the documentary and get that woman that had that 90s R&B shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
so,
get her own
so,
segment.
so great. It's such a good shirt. And then they have the Mystics at home, and we are always weary about them playing at home, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna say I'm picking them to beat the Mystics at home to come back, and my prediction for that game is that Natasha Cloud will have more assists than Sloot, though. I will say that. That will be my weird switch. Cloud will have more assists than
Okay.
Sloot in that game, just because we're gonna keep with our themes and throw out some Natasha Cloud love. The Liberty will win, but
Oh,
Cloud will
yeah.
have more assists than Sloot. So,
I love this matchup too because anytime I have free time, there's no Liberty games to watch, I'm like, "I wanna watch a Mystics game." I
yes.
love watching the Mystics. I feel they are also quite similar to the way that Liberty play in that they're not the fastest team, but they're very set in their plays, they're very comfortable. Um and I'm so excited to see Natasha Cloud play. And I will, yeah, I will hold you to that. I can see that for her.
Yeah.
She's got that fight in her. She's one of, they say she's one of the Philly players. Everyone knows Philly, everyone's known to be very like hustle basketball.
Yep.
I see it. I think she's got that fight in her, and yeah, can
It's
give her
it's the
more
Dawn
attention.
it's the Dawn Staley way, the Philly way. The Dawn Staley
Yeah,
way is what it should be called, not
of
the Philly
course.
way. But Dawn will be like, "No, it's the Philly way." She won't take
Yeah.
credit. She'll just be like, "It's the Philly style." That'd be what Dawn would say. Alright,
Yeah,
so
but
we got that. Yeah.
I wanna hope that it's a win, and I'm gonna, for the sake of our liberty, gonna say that they win at home if Sabrina's
If
back.
if Sabrina's back,
If
okay.
I have a feeling they might not bring Sabrina back for the Atlanta game. Again, we don't know the severity of her injury, but sure. I mean, but they did make this mistake last time where they didn't play her, and then, so I don't know. I think they don't bring Sabrina back for the Dream game, but she comes back for the Mystics game. If she is in the Mystics game, they win. I'm not sure how I'm feeling if she's not playing against the Mystics.
Okay, so you
This
are
is
a
going really late.
50-50 Sabrina
I'm
on that one.
50-50.
Okay.
Sabrina's my make or break for that.
Gotcha. And then the end of the week, they go to Connecticut and they play the Sun. The last time that they played the Sun, I said that the Sun were gonna win, and I was wrong, thankfully. And I'm still gonna stick
Mhm.
with the Sun though. I'm gonna say it's a 2-1 week. Also, just to make sure I don't get in my undefeated week jinx where they end up not being undefeated. Um, I think the Sun are gonna do this. The Sun like to push, the Sun are physical, and so it's one of those dog fights. I'm trying to think what my prediction will be for this one. Oh gosh. I'm ready to do like a Sabrina, if Sabrina's back or Sloot's back. I'm trying to think of how to do the Alyssa Thomas, Sabrina Sloot triple double kind of thing. Like
Mm.
I feel let's go points, assists, rebounds. I feel like Sloot will have more points. If you add up her points, her assists, and her rebounds, she'll have more of those total than Alyssa Thomas. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, because
Okay.
I think she'll get even though Alyssa Thomas, I believe, is 2nd in assist in the league, which is awesome, but I
Damn.
feel like Sloot plays well against the Sun, even though the Chicago did kinda blow it last year against them, but I
Mm.
am going to say that Sloot will have higher numbers in those totals than Alyssa Thomas will. My weird prediction.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I
I
got,
like
but
that.
yeah, but I do
I
choose the Sun.
Yeah. I am gonna say that I choose the Sun as well. I just
Ooh,
think Sun are that real hustle team. Again, Sabrina makes all the difference, but I think even with Sabrina playing, I just have Sun winning that. I just they have that fight, and it'll be a really great game to watch, don't get me wrong, but I think particularly if they win against the Mystics, I think the Sun are gonna beat them. I have it. Two game wins in the same week. I think someone has to humble them, and
yeah.
it'll be Sun. So yeah, I think I'm gonna say 2-0, depending on Sabrina.
2 2, it's either gonna
2-1,
be
sorry.
2 and 1 or it's 1 and 1. I'm gonna make this like, world football and say that you're just gonna throw up a draw for that Mystics game
Yes.
everything. So you're gonna go
Yeah.
1 and 1, and I'm
One
gonna
one
go
one.
2 and 1. Yeah.
Okay.
That will be yeah, because you're on that fence, so
I'm on
we'll
the
see.
fence.
Yeah. 1 and 1, 2 and 1 for the Liberty this week. Yeah, after they go 1 and 0 for the week, against Phoenix on the Father's Day and Juneteenth celebrations. Jonquel gets her first double double. Stewie kills it because she's not going to have 2 bad games in a row. So Liberty go 1 and 0 this week, and both of us think they're going to have one loss against the Sun next week. We
Mhm.
still love you. We want
We
the
still
best
love
for
them.
you. We want it to be a 3-0 week, but we will see what happens. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting week. We got a lot more basketball to watch,
yeah. Got
and
lots
but
on our plate.
yeah, a lot. Well, I mean, until then, for across the pond Liberty, I'm Stacia.
And I'm Kirsten.
All right, we will see everybody back next week.
See you next week, guys.
All right, bye.